Hey, what's up guys? Rampedi here. The start of a new season. Mamelodi Sundowns setting the standard already. Others one is rain, starts with a defeat. And what did we make of Jose's first game? Let's talk about it. Let's go.
That's how it goes?
They keep asking about the best when they know it's me.
Okay.
Asking about the rest when they know it's me.
Straight in, I guess.
You know it's me.
The DStv Premiership kicked off with a bang. Kicked off on the 5th of August. That was a Friday. And big game. Very big game. Cape Town City at home, hosting Mamelodi Sundowns. And I gotta say, was really impressed with the quality of the game. You know, I missed having to watch that type of a game. And it was first versus second going up against one another in terms of the league positions that they finished last season. But you have to take your hats off to Mamelodi Sundowns. They're such a class side. You know, it feels like Mamelodi Sundowns never left. You know, that's the quality that they have within that team. They're capable of just changing the game in the way they want it to change. It's almost like a car. Either you put it in gear 1, or it's gear 2, or it's gear 3. They're able to just dictate how quick they want the game to be. They're able to stop the car. They're able to move the car. They're able to move it in reverse. They're just able to sort of just manufacture a game in the way they want it to play. And you have to, when you play a team like Mamelodi Sundowns, one thing we've known from last season, and I think it might be a trend coming into this season, you have to take your chances. Because Eric Tinkler as well, I have to give him credit because he showed how much of a good coach he is. He had players out. You know, his whole back line was out, technically. Mashego was out, Phillies was on the bench, Fasika was not there, and Mkhize as well. That's leadership, that's strength at the back. So he had to make shift with that back four. And if you're going up against Mamelodi Sundowns, there's only so long you can hold it for. But what I was impressed with him was he was capable of being aggressive with Sundowns, being able to play on the counter. And I think Sundowns picked that up in the second half. They knew that they were going to come with the aggression. They knew that they were going to try play on the counter. And what Sundowns did was they upped their rest defense. They upped the tempo to the same as what Cape Town City was. And from then on, the quality of Mamelodi Sundowns came to the fold. I think players like Hashim Domingo as well. I mean, that's the thing. He can just come in and just show their brilliance. And someone like even Peter Shaulili, he was so quiet within the game, but still he was being able to give that backline problems. And when they scored the first one, which was a set piece from Modiba, it goes to show you the different types of ways that Mamelodi Sundowns can score goals. It's free kicks, it's set pieces, it's corners, it could be even run of play. But the fact that they scored that free kick was brilliant from them. And the second one, from then on, you saw the pass from Domingo. Zwane finishes it off. And I think, have they set the standard? Has Mamelodi Sundowns already made a statement for the season? And I have to admit, they were the most impressive team for me. Of all the games that I watched over the weekend, they were the most impressive in terms of just how it's like they wrote the game was going to play the way that they did. The way they dreamt it is how it actually came out. And the fact that if it was Cape Town City and the way Eric Tinkler set them up, I am very confident if it was any other team that played Cape Town City would have scored goals. But for Sundowns to come out of that, being the first game, I think it's a very huge statement. But with that being said, I think Tinkler can be proud of his men. But Mamelodi Sundowns, we might be looking at maybe a 6th title. Let's head off to Orlando Stadium. The original Soweto derby was being played. Orlando Pirates going up against Swallows, and Orlando Pirates winning that 1-0. It was interesting to see this game because Jose's first game as the coach of Orlando Pirates, how would he play? How did he set them up? He went with his original 3 at the back. It's what he's been coaching, even when he was in Finland as well. I thought they started really well. I really did. I thought the first 20 minutes, the counter press from Orlando Pirates was key. And the fact that when they lost the ball, it's just how quickly they won it back and how quickly they changed the pace to sort of counter. And that's what I liked from them. They never wanted Swallows to get within their box. But to be fair, I think also Swallows as well, I was not necessarily too impressed with the squad. I think also there was a mix-up with the fact that Musa Nyatama was the assistant coach. That I didn't know. We're asking where Fanny Madida was, but he was not there. So Musa Nyatama had to take the reins, and Dylan Kerr had not obtained his work permit as yet, so he was in the stands. So there was a bit bit of a mix-up, and you could see that it needed a little bit more structure, and you could just see that if Dylan Kerr was probably on the side of the pitch, it would have been a lot better. But also what was key was which striker was he going to start first? And he went with Evanga, the Cameroonian. He started with him, and he got his goal. The only thing about Orlando Pirates that maybe I would say is a little bit of a criticism for them was the fact that they started so well. They had so much tempo within the game, so much speed within the game, but they were not able to put the chances away. And to make it even worse, in second half, they dropped the tempo. They allowed Swallows to come back in. And you have to worry because you're allowing a team to come back in. And I think because Swallows don't have that quality, they just could not score. They simply could not score. And I just think it's because the squad that Swallows have is not good enough to score goals in abundance. So they were creating all of these chances, but still, Orlando Pirates dropped the tempo and they were able to get out. And I think for me, that's the worrisome that I would have. But it's only game one. I think also the standout players, I have to give shout outs to the likes of Dlamini. Dlamini was really good. Someone who didn't get a lot of minutes at Orlando Pirates last season and the season before. He didn't get a lot of starts in games. I think Tawiso as well, having to play down the right-hand side. I thought his wing play was really, really good. And I think he's someone who's going to potentially make the position his own, purely because of the fact that the energy that he did have. For Swallows, on the other hand, because we have to also talk about Swallows, that squad, man, I think it needs more. I think Swallows' squad needs more. And I spoke about it, the fact that they created all those chances, but they were still not able to find the back of the net. I think once Dylan Kerr gets his work permit, I think once that is sorted out and dug out, I think they will be able to play a lot better. But I'm worried about that squad, and I looked at even some of the signings that they made. I think Keegan Allen was the one that I was really impressed with. He didn't start. He was on the bench as well. I was really looking forward to seeing him in Swallows colours. But what they can take as solace is the fact that Pirates were only able to put one away. My only worry is that I think they were only able to put one away because Orlando Pirates were wasteful. I wouldn't say Swallows were necessarily too great. But it's something that they'll have to work on, and once that is sorted out, we'll see how they perform in the next game. Royal AM and Kaizer Chiefs met again. And guess who was the winner again? Royal AM beat Kaizer Chiefs again. Yeah, this one is rain to the new season. Started off with a defeat. Yeah, I thought they played much better. To give Kaizer Chiefs credit, I thought they played much better than what they did before with Stuart Baxter last season. I thought you could see that they worked on plays in terms of having to play 1-2s with one another, have those combination plays that were there. But I came up with 3 reasons why I think Royal M were able to beat Kaizer Chiefs again. Reason number 1, I thought it was the poor defending on the goal. I mean, to start the game that early, only 2 minutes in, and already you're conceding a goal. I think there were questions to the concentration levels because you have to be able to start that game with your concentration being very high. And you just saw with Ngezana having to let the ball slip, and eventually Vuma saw it too late. The dive was too late, and Nascimento pounced on. And I really thought that the defending of Kaizer Chiefs for the first goal was really something that they can work on. And I think also throughout the game, Nascimento had a really big chance as well that I think Kaizer Chiefs could get that better. Reason number 2, I thought the experience of Royal M's bench is what also won them the game. I thought if you watch the game, you could see Royal M was going toe-to-toe with Kaizer Chiefs. You know, they were going toe-to-toe with them. They were trying to match them for speed. But the problem is that Kaizer Chiefs had more quality than Royal AM. And you saw the number of chances that Kaizer Chiefs had. You know, Ashley Dupree went one-on-one. You saw that Keegan Dolly had a chance. You saw that Kamabila also had a chance. They were testing the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper eventually came out as man of the match, making double saves as well. But the experience of the coaches, why I think Chiefs lost is Dan Malisela was able, and Kawazondo as well, was able to change the game in the second half. They were able to force the game to slow down, because if it kept on playing at that high tempo, Chiefs would have scored more goals. But the experience they had to tell themselves, let's sit back, let's sit in, and let's see if Kaizer Chiefs can break us down. And if you look at it in the second half, Chiefs didn't really test the goalkeeper that much. But that was the experience that Dan Malesela have. And I got to say, with Dan Malesela, I've given him praise on numerous occasions, many times, even on this show as well. I mean, you sort of wonder, when will eventually a big club give him an opportunity? Because I thought he was brilliant in terms of doing that. He just knew that he couldn't go toe-to-toe with Kaizer Chiefs, so he switched it up in the second half. And you saw Kaizer Chiefs just had no answers for Royal AM. So that's the reason number 2. Reason number 3, it's the most obvious one. It's the one we were all tweeting about. It's the one we were all talking about. Kaizer Chiefs need to sort out the striking position. Yep, they need a focal point. They really need a focal point. It just was not there. It's great to have the dollies and the billiards moving in different areas and having S2EP01's pace and having Stebe there. But when there is no focal point, when there is no one in the box who can just sit there and finish the chances, I think it's something that they lacked. It's something that they lacked, and they've showed it. Even Atazwan has spoken about the fact that they're still looking to get a striker, and it was very evident within that game that they were looking for one. So that's the dilemma they find themselves in, having to look for a striker. So I sat at home and I thought, realistically, who can Chiefs get realistically in the way that they want to play, in the target man that they're sort of looking for? I thought Evanga maybe, but he's gone to Orlando Pirates. I thought maybe Evidence Mahopa, he's gone to Orlando Pirates as well. But there's not many of that quality that you think can put chances away a lot of the times. So I thought to myself, they left themselves with 3 scenarios. Number 1, Liduba, who's playing in the DDC team. That's someone that they can go to. But in the same light that I've said about Mduduzi Shabalala and as well as Mfundo Vilegazi, I'd never do want to rush these youngsters into pressure situations where Chiefs is expected to win games. So that's option number 1. Wouldn't necessarily go for it. You must remember as well, they had strikers that came to the club for trials. Caleb came, it didn't work out. Smith came, it didn't work out. Lekay came, didn't work out. I think Musa was there as well, but they haven't necessarily announced as one of them to be the man going forward. So realistically, if one Lidu was one option, what is the next option that they can do? I think the next option is set targets. Set targets. You know, look at Billiard, look at Keegan Dolly, and look at Ashley Dupree. Set targets for them. You know, they can each get 10 goal contributions from one another. You know, 5 goals, 5 assists, each of them. Them 3 should be able to get 30 goal involvement. At least, at the minimum. I think that is something you can expect from them. And then there was the last point. And I thought, really? Really? There's one striker I think they can realistically get, but they would have to make a very decent offer. Kermit Erasmus. Yeah, I know someone's looking at me, you screaming there and saying, but why? He's not even that high and he's this. The best I've ever seen of Kermit Erasmus was when he was playing in a Pirates jersey, when he was playing in a Cape Town City jersey as well. Of course, there was the SuperSport United days, but they were like far back. But every single time he played for those clubs, he was able to score goals. And I think at Sundowns, he's not going to get as many opportunities as he would like. And I think in the meantime, with the experience that he has of the DSTV Premiership and all these years that he has, even the international experience, he could be the answer right now. But provided, of course, if Kaizer Chiefs make him an offer. But that's what I think. And I'm being realistic. I'm not going to just say Cristiano Ronaldo because he wants to leave Manchester United, you know? So who do you think they should get? Like realistically, who do you think Kaizer Chiefs can get and how should they be able to move forward? But big ups to Royal AM. One thing I love about the DSTV Premiership is realizing you could have fairy tale stories that actually do come true. And we had one over the weekend. We did have one, KZN, Maritzburg United going up against Sekune. Game ending 1-0, but it was the goal scorers. That was the That's what made it all special. Tsegofatso Mabasa, the way he took his goal. The way he took his goal, the way he was capable of smelling danger, and also getting a pass from Linda Mtambo as well. He had the instincts to feel that. And when Tsegofatso Mabasa was at Orlando Pirates, he always had the knack of getting a goal. The only problem is that he just didn't have the run of games. And to be fair, I think he just did not have the trust from the coach as well. And I think this is a different chapter for him. He goes to Sekhukhune United, and I think it's a time where he's going to see a lot of game time. It's a time where he'll be able to get a run of games. And it's a time where the sky is the limit for him, in the sense that who knows what could happen. The goals could come in, and then he could finally play a crucial role in the Bafana setup. Obviously, maybe that's me just thinking too far, but I just thought him having to get his first start for Sekhukhune and scoring the goal like that, I thought that was really special because he just never had those chances at the Orlando Pirates. And the other goal scorer, we have to talk about the other goal scorer, because for him, he showed his emotions. He was not even hiding about his emotions. Bongani Sam, he scored that goal when once Toaster made the save to the penalty, but he pounced onto the rebound. And he also showed why Ben McCarthy wanted him. The energy that he was showing within that first half. Just, he was playing with heart. He was playing like as if it was a World Cup final. And even the way he celebrated his goal, it was almost as if he scored a World Cup final winning goal. And what hit me most was what he said. Is the comments that he said. And this is what he had to say. I missed football. I spent 3 years without playing regularly. My time is now. I thought that was really special. I really did. I thought that was special because he was speaking from the heart, and you could see it. You could see it within his emotions. And I think this is possibly a lesson for footballers that are coming up. Sometimes you find yourself being at a club, and when those chances don't come through, I think there are times where you have to take control of your career and probably find a move. And sometimes what you find is that the club that you end up at might not be an Orlando Pirates, might not be a Kaizer Chiefs, might not be a Sundowns, it might not be as popular as that, but you might just find yourself playing the best football you could ever play. And that is what you saw over the weekend. Bongani Sam didn't look like a player who hadn't played in 3 years. In fact, he looked more like a player that you sort of wonder, how come Pirates didn't give him more minutes? And to be fair, there were players in his position that were on form, but you just felt like he deserved more. As well as with Tsegofatso Mabasa, he showed his quality before for Orlando Pirates, but he's not had the run of games that I think he's going to get at Sekhukhune United. And I guess that story for me is special, and I think it's a lesson that young footballers can take, that you don't need to be at the big three to probably play your best football. Richards Bay claimed their first victory within the DStv Premiership. It was very crucial. It's very crucial. Whenever a side gets promoted, you have to be able to get the first win. Get it out of the way, then the confidence is flying, and then the players are going to play well. And not only even that, it was over their KZN rivals. It was over Golden Arrows. Yes, we had a first derby of the season, and they played against Golden Arrows. They scored the 2 crucial goals, and I think they were able to defend well from the extended highlights that I saw. And I have to say, what's most impressive for me with regards to Richards Bay coming into the DStv Premiership is just how ready they've become. I thought, look at the business that they've done in the transfer market. And I put players that I felt like it just made sense. It just made sense. It's something that they thought about. As you can see, Michael Gumete, how he was at Golden Arrows. Abel Mabasa, how he was at Orlando Pirates. Mthethwa, his form at Stellenbosch, and Nkanyiso Zungu as well. A player that needs minutes. Luvuyo Mamela, I'm surprised. And I think maybe his age might have put off, you would say, the bigger teams. But having to get him, and I also have to say Vasily Manusakis, bringing him in the technical area. You look at those signings, I thought those are very smart signings. Those are signings that come with experience, and those are signings that also have the talent. And based off that first victory, I think teams have to watch out. And maybe they can take a note from what Sekhukhune did last season, because Sekhukhune were able to secure their safety within the first half. But it's only one game, and I've been very impressed with how that they played. So good luck to them in terms of how they go about their season as well. This weekend was a mentor versus mentee battle. Dane Klate going up against Gavin Hunt. Very interesting game to watch. I think Dane Klate, if he's being honest, he would take a point. I think, to be fair, I must give him credit in the sense that Chippa United started off the game in the way that Dane Klate speaks about his teams. Wanting to be offensive, wanting to go on the front foot, being attacking as well. I thought they started really well. The only downside about Chippa United is that I thought they scored too early, because once they scored, I thought they reverted back to type. They reverted to what they were last season, and they sat back and they just allowed SuperSport to just throw waves and waves at them. And I think even with Gavin Hunt, just being able to manage his players well, not bringing off Bradley Grobler, the person who scored the crucial goal, the equalizer for SuperSport. I thought that was really key that he done that. But you could just see that once Chippa United went defensively, they were not creating as many opportunities. And I just think that's when Gavin Hunt had the bigger hand over Dane Klate. I would say for Dane Klate is that perhaps it was an away game, perhaps it was against Gavin Hunt, perhaps he had to play that way. But I would suggest that it has to change some sort as well, because I don't think you survive having to play that way. But I did like the way that they played before they scored the goal, and I think that's the philosophy that Dane Klate is going to try play. And as for Gavin Hunt, already he has to deal with a change. Ricardo Goss, I don't know if you guys saw that, he had a Mike Tyson. You know, he threw it, man. He threw it. And to be fair, I must say Fumbuzai was being very clever. I thought he was getting under his skin by kicking the ball, but once he did that, then from then on, Ricardo Goss just let it rip. And I guess that also helped Chippa to get out of there with a point. But from then on, I would say I could see SuperSport playing a little better. And I think also with SuperSport, because they had over 20 attempts, they're going to be a dark horse this season. I really do believe Gavin Hunt and his team are going to be a dark horse. I think top 4 is there for them, but provided if the players stay fit till the end of the season. It's time for our weekly bet of the week. The purpose of this segment is to show you my bet slip in hopes that it helps yours light and green. The more accurate, the more cash you get. Let's get into it. There were many games that I could have picked this week. You know, loads that is happening. We've got a game in Europe. We have DStv Premiership that's happening this week. But once you hear the odds for these 3 games that I've picked, you're going to be surprised. Game number 1, Mamelodi Sundowns going up against TS Galaxy. I think Sundowns wins this game. I've selected them to win. They've got too much quality. They showed it against Cape Town City, and I just think they're going to have too much for TS Galaxy. And not to say TS Galaxy is a bad side. I just think Sundowns at this moment have just got the experience to get another 3 points. So I've gone with the Sundowns straight win. Next game that I've gone with is Sekhukhune United going up against Golden Arrows. And I got to say the signings that Sekhukhune made, some very strong signings. To be fair, Golden Arrows also have a chance to win, but I just don't feel that Sekhukhune is going to lose this game. So I've gone with a double chance there. Sekhukhune or draw. That's the selection that I've made. And my third choice, let's fly to Europe. And UEFA Super Cup is happening. Real Madrid take on Frankfurt. The winners of the UEFA Champions League going up against the winners of the Europa League. Frankfurt lost 6-1 to Bayern over the weekend. Yeah, I think they're going to concede more goals. I don't think they'll concede 6 against Real Madrid. But I do favor Real Madrid to win this game. And I've gone with the Real Madrid and over 2.5. Now my odds, you ask, right? My odds are sitting at 4.01. I mean, that's 4 times the money back with just 3 games. That is the genius move about it. Sometimes you have to fill up the bet slip. But I've only gone with 3 games and I could potentially get 4 times my money back. But that was my bet of the week. That is Bet of the Week, sponsored by Betway. Remember to practice responsible betting at betway.co.za. Until the next one, all the best. We've come to the end of the show. Wow, the first one for the new season. I mean, that was fun. But the action doesn't stop. The action doesn't stop. And I gotta leave you with something. Tomorrow, these are the fixtures that are playing. The DStv Premiership is coming thick and fast. As you can see, those are the fixtures. Amazulu against SuperSport United. That's going to be interesting. You can just see there with Chipa United and Royal AM. How is the Klate going to do up against Mamkiza's men? It's going to be very interesting, but those are the games. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you're notified for future episodes. See you next week.